Good morning. So we're going to do a little something different today. I'm going to start my talk with a special reading from this book, Wild Mercy, Living the Fierce and Tender Wisdom of the Women Mystics. And to help me in this reading, if I could have all of my readers come up. These are all beautiful Unity Center of Peace members and mothers. And if you would line up in order of your reading, that would be awesome if that could happen. There we go. So, 4, 5, 6.
Can we count?
Can you scoot down a little bit that way with the mic and everything?
Good.
Okay, great. So this is from her chapter called Sheltering Mother as a Path to Spiritual Awakening. Let's take a deep breath together, ladies. Thank you for being here with me. And Roshana, would you begin?
The world needs all kinds of women and every kind of mother. Maybe you have not birthed a baby, and instead you mother the world. Or your niece, or your nephew, or your friend's kids, or you adopted a child who came through another woman's body. Or perhaps you have grown a person in your own womb, and the first time you look into the eyes of your baby boy or baby girl, and they look back, you feel like your heart is going to explode.
You thought you had loved before. Your first boyfriend, for instance, who took his own life at 16. Your grandma Rose, who always saw the best and most beautiful in you. Your cats, or the father of the new little person you're now holding in your arms. But this is a quantum love leap. It takes your breath away and makes you want to laugh and cry at the same time. And so you are catapulted into hushed astonishment, and there you rest, gazing.
You are paralyzed by joy. You are paralyzed by joy. Yes, of course. But there's something else. A peripheral pain. A feeling that no matter how many books you read on conscious child rearing, or how well you are practicing mindfulness, that you're going to mess up. You're going to just mess up this parenting thing. And you are bound to get lost in the woods of parenting, dragging the poor child behind you. And probably doing irreplaceable damage along the way. Well, I hope not.
It's the fear that you are.
I had a little bit of an intense teenage mothering moment this morning.
Uh-huh.
And then walked in late, which I never am, and Chris handed me this, and I went, oh gosh. This one's intense too. It's okay. So, and as you gaze at your newborn baby now, there is yet a deeper sorrow. This is going to get me. Behind your resignation to failure. You know that you will be unable to protect your beloved child. This is really good. Okay, from the pain of this world. You know you will try anyway. Try with all your might. And that's what I was really feeling. So, that you will do anything to keep this beloved person from bearing a fraction of the suffering you have endured. That you would die for them. Right.
Pass around the Kleenex.
So, is it okay if I change mine slightly?
Okay.
It's just that mine says die, die, die over and over again. I like to say evolve. So, and you do, to become someone's mother is to evolve again and again. Evolve from who you thought you were and who you hoped you would become. Evolve to your cherished notions of what a child of yours should look like, sound like, behave like. Evolve from your illusions of control. control of your own emotions, control of your child's experiences, and in proportion to all of your evolvement, you will be blessed with endless resurrections. You will rise radiant from the flames of what you thought was the end of the world, and your child will rise luminous from the ashes of your errors.
Yes.
Then there will be moments of perfect wholeness, many more of these than the broken ones. When you are driving together to a ballet lesson or the hardware store, and a feeling of utter contentment will wash over you. Looking over at the being you call your son or daughter, you will say, "Do you know that you are my favorite person in the world to hang out with?" And they smile and nod and say, "Me too," meaning this person, your child, wouldn't trade these times with you for anything. And something in your soul will understand that the torn fabric of the world had just been mended a little by the ordinary miracle of your love.
You will not carry responsibility for shepherding this human being through the world by yourself. You cannot. The Great Mother holds you even as you hold your son or daughter. When you feel incapable of making the next decision or even taking the next breath, you will turn to that mother. You'll lay your head in her lap, unburden your heart, and listen to her guidance. And then, warmed beside her hearth, you will go back into the forest and pick up your baby and continue your journey.
Wow. Okay. Pass around the Kleenex there. Thank you, ladies, for opening your heart and sharing that. I know it wasn't always easy. And it's true, right? Mothering is a path to spiritual awakening. And again, whether we are mothering as a result of a child that we've given birth to or adopted, or we're stepchild or grandparent or a niece or nephew or a beloved pet. You know, when you step onto that, role of mothering, you are launching yourself into a wild ride. One that is exhilarating and fun and impossibly vulnerable and sometimes crazy and exhilarating, and how many other adjectives can we come up with? It's never a dull moment, as Maria says, never a dull moment, and impossibly heart-opening, right? You're really growing into your power, your divine feminine power. That's what it is. So as you can guess, this Mother's Day, we are focusing on taking a little deeper dive into the feminine face of the divine. And as I've mentioned here many times before, we all have both aspects, right? All of us, men, women, non-binary, we all have feminine and masculine aspects, right? So I'm including everybody here. And we know that for far too long, humanity has been shaped by an imbalance in the masculine. This imbalance of masculine power, which is that external, hierarchical, controlling, domineering kind of power that is different than the power that we talked about last week, which is that internal and spiritual, and our true power. And I don't know whether it's been out of fear or I don't know what, arrogance, maybe a combination of, the compassionate and nurturing and loving and inclusive and collaborating feminine energy has been repressed, suppressed, and oppressed, right? And so, we want to look now. So, okay, if that's true, where are we now? After centuries and centuries of being under patriarchal power, where has it gotten us? We must look at that, right? Well, we've got some really fabulous cities in the world. We've got wonderful, beautiful buildings, beautiful bridges, rockets. Rockets that send people to the moon, and one woman that circled the moon, and satellites all over the world, orbiting the world, so we can have our GPS and communication. So a lot of wonderful inventions, right? We have a lot of wonderful, there are some blessings here. But also, horrific wars, horrible violence, an ever-widening income gap that is just getting deeper and deeper, and people suffering all over the world that, needlessly, that we could help, right? And a sick planet that is rebelling. So an awakening, a reawakening of feminine wisdom is needed, urgently. Yeah. Can I get an amen? Right? Urgently. Yeah, and it's the need for compassion and connection and inclusivity and nurturing and caring. And it is happening. You can see a rising of this feminine energy, and she talks about it in the book. And you see it in communities, small communities like this one, communities all over the world. You see it in the mystical factions of world religions and in nature-based spirituality, which resonates for a lot of younger people. And really any practices that combine vision with presence. So if we can marry the feminine aspect with the masculine aspect together, we can reclaim the full breadth of our power as co-creators. And from that reconnected self, we can together help heal a fractured world. Yes, right? Together. It takes this together. It takes a healing and a reconnection of the two aspects of our being. A wholeness, right? That's what we're craving. We're calling for a wholeness. And if sometimes that appears like a difficult task, which very often it does, the good news is that we're not in this by ourselves. As the last paragraph that Joy read speaks of the Great Mother, which is my idea of that is the feminine aspect of that universal divine, the nurturing and unconditionally loving and embracing and healing energy. And throughout human history, people have discovered and connected with that great mother, that spiritual aspect, in many different ways, multiple ways. And I want to tell you about one, which was in the late 14th century England, in the midst of medieval England, Norwich, England. There was a young woman by the name of Julian who really committed herself to living a monastic life as an anchoress Do you know what an anchor? I didn't know. I had to look it up. An anchoress is apparently somebody who's so devoted to God, to this connection with God, that they will give up everything and lead this ascetic, solitary, celibate life in basically a cell, a very small unit, like very cell-like, that's connected to the church. And they stay there the entire time, meditating and cultivating this connection. And there's a window into the sanctuary, right? Imagine a window in the sanctuary where the anchoress can share the wisdom that she has been cultivating this whole time, the practices that she's been cultivating. And so this was also at the time when the plague was just, wiping out huge swaths of the population. And she contracted the plague. And she was dying. She was on her deathbed, and the priest, I guess, put this crucifix with a figure of Jesus, big, on her body. And she started immediately having visions. All night long, she had these visions, which she called the showings, 16 visions in all. And she woke up in the morning totally healed, but of course, forever changed, totally transformed this experience for her. And she began writing down the transmissions, as she called the transmissions, in her visions. And a lot of what she was saying was that she saw Jesus as the divine mother, looking beyond all gender binary, that she saw Jesus as God as mother, the divine feminine, which is really interesting. And, she figured that only a mother could, break themselves open and pour themselves out to such a degree, their entire being, for love of their children, which is what she saw that Jesus the Christ was doing. And so many of these messages have a lot to do with love, that God is love, we are love, everything is made of love, and love is really all that matters. Which sounds like we can relate to that, right? It's all love. And then there was this one sentence which really I connected with, that was the transmission that she wrote, saying, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." Which sounds like something a mother would say, right? Something a caring mother would say. So that was her connection with it. So if you want to read more of her story, it's really pretty incredible. And there is a published work of the showings that are her writings, Julian of Norwich. So I'd like to close this period of time with you by reading a prayer that Mirabai Starr has written in this book about mothering. And I'd like you to just sort of settle back, close your eyes, really connect with your heart. It's called Love Song to the Great Mother. And really just listening with your heart. Beloved one, our sister, Mother Earth, sacred woman, holy girl, crucible of mercy and fire of truth, thank you. We have called and you have come. You descend on the wings of pain, the wings of joy, bringing solace and vitality. You rise through the roots of the trees, spreading shelter, offering refuge. You enter through the cries of the young, demanding protection for the vulnerable. Even as we bow before your beautiful body, you affirm the beauty of our bodies. You bless every particle of creation with your divine presence. We welcome you who have lived long enough in exile to dwell among us again. We offer ourselves as your loving stewards, your beloved, reluctant prophets, radiant reflections of your own sacred self. Thank you. Thank you. And again, we give thanks. Take a breath and begin to bring your awareness back into the room. Take a moment to kind of look around at all of these faces of the sacred self all around you. And maybe just like a little tiny bow of recognition of that divine mother presence in all of us. All right. Namaste.
Hi, it's Reverend Victoria here. I'm at Unity Center of Peace with our house band, Bright Matter.
Hello.
Yeah, and if this video has inspired you or empowered you or opened your heart, opened your consciousness, or even just given you hope, we ask that you support what we're doing here by making a donation today, going to unitychapelhill.org or clicking the link below. And we thank you.
Thank
Thank you.